Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be covering Scarecrow. He made his first appearance in World's Finest Comics, Volume 1, Issue Number 3, that was released in the fall of 1941. His real name is Dr. Jonathan Crane, and he's a well-known classic villain of Gotham City that stands 6 feet tall and weighs 140 pounds, having greenish hazel eyes and brown hair. Now, Scarecrow has no obvious superpowers except for a brief period where he was transformed into a powerful scare beast, but he has somehow developed a significant immunity to Joker's Joker venom, as well as his own fear toxins. Now, speaking of which, he does have a near genius level intellect, being very proficient at toxicology and chemistry, which he's used to create his fear toxins as well as further advance them to become super fear toxins. Scarecrow is also an expert in the field of psychology, specifically possessing intimate knowledge of every known phobia. Now, he's dedicated most all of his expertise to developing the most perfect toxins to make his victims hallucinate their most terrifying fears. While it also has to be noted that he's a very good mechanical engineer as well. Now, despite Scarecrow being a mediocre athlete and only having basic hand-to-hand combat skills, he's proved that he's a formidable leader by becoming the actual general of all the lunatics of Arkham Asylum during the Arkham War. And when you consider the fact that Scarecrow has a specialized costume that incorporates upgraded technology that allows him to actually detect the fear in the minds of those around him, it's easy to see why the citizens of Gotham City are fearful of him. Now, unfortunately, Jonathan Crane was born into a life of fear, with his mother having passed away when he was very young and being raised by his heartless scientist father, who happened to be obsessed with research on the emotion of fear. And since his dad couldn't always get access to test subjects, he would use the young Jonathan to conduct his terror-filled experiments. Jonathan would be hooked up to heart rate monitors and forced to sit in a small dark room with horrible things around him, all while his father would study the effects. Whenever the young Jonathan would be set free, he would take off as fast as he could into a nearby field, screaming at the top of his lungs and scaring away all of the birds. Clear foreshadowing of the Scarecrow name he would take on later. And if this wasn't horrible enough, the very last time that this experiment was done on him, his father actually had a heart attack and passed away, which unfortunately left Jonathan being stuck in this room for multiple days. This trauma would stay with him for a long time, and the shy boy who was mocked by his peers would eventually grow up to be laser focused on his studies, nurturing his own obsession of fear and becoming a professor of psychology, which he would end up being fired from for his peculiar teaching methods and terrifying his students. But this wasn't before he would lose his job as a psychologist for using his patients as test subjects to develop his fear toxin. It wasn't long thereafter that he decided to accept his quote-unquote true self and adopt the name Scarecrow and begin terrorizing Gotham City. He'd become notorious in the area and would actually be recruited into the war of jokes and riddles between Joker and Riddler, actually being on the side of the Riddler. Scarecrow would even go on to have a stint as a false police detective in the GCPD, carrying on this ruse during Bane's takeover of the city. Interestingly enough, Scarecrow's special brand of terror wouldn't just be limited to Gotham City, at times branching out to wreak havoc on Nightwing at Bludhaven, as well as trying his hand at cosmic level terror, such as when he was in the Blackest Night event, and when he appropriately wielded a yellow power ring with the Sinestro Corps. So if you ever feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up or get a cold chill down your spine, you may have become the latest victim of the ultimate fear-monger. Now, due to his abilities and his influence on the DC universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Scarecrow a rating of 6, which is an expert rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.